Thank you for joining us back here for Game 5, where we have ourselves a classic John Travolta and Nick Cage situation as Clutch Gaming and Echo Fox will face off. Let's take a look at the starting rosters here. Selecting blue side, it's Clutch Gaming. Huni going to be representing them here in the top lane. Lyra in the jungle. DeMonte at mid. Piglet and Vulcan bottom lane and support with Coach McScragg.
And facing them on the red side today is going to be Echo Fox. In the top lane, we have Solo making his return in the jungle. It is Rush. In the mid lane, Phoenix, bot, and support sticking together are going to be Apollo and Hakuo with Coach Song.
And while Echo Fox has 3/5 of last year's Clutch roster, the highlight of their offseason roster moves has to be the return of the one and only kind boy himself, Rush.
It's got to be. I mean, he was an MVP last time he was here in the LCS. And then he was playing on KT under Score, who many consider to be the best jungler in the world. He thinks he has learned a lot, and he has been sharing that he's very excited to play with Phoenix, even though he has been memeing him pretty hard on his stream, flaming him quite a bit. Maintains he is not toxic.
It's all banter.
Exactly,
it's all banter, not real flame, just banter, no report, please. He returns against another fan favorite, though, as Huni will don the black and red for Clutch Game.
And Huni is coming off, a rough year for once, right? This guy has been dominating everywhere he has gone throughout his career. And throughout summer last year and at Rift Rivals, he was not in that same level of form. So he's looking to get back to his dominating form, start crushing in the top lane once again, and he is going to be joined by a very different cast this time around. He is back with Piglet. He's going to be, joining Vulcan down in the bottom lane, and Piglet had a lot of good things to say about Vulcan, the support he played with in Academy, as well as Lyra, who he considers to be a very, very good jungler. So it's going to be exciting to see how these guys mesh together.
Glad to see that they already have that pre-built respect for one another, like you're saying with Piglet having such high opinions of his teammates. But we have heard this team described as a high variance team. So sometimes the difference between a team's good day and a bad day won't be that much different. That's what consistency is defined as. But if your team is high variance, it means you need to hit those high highs.
Yeah, and I think that confidence is so important for teams like that can be very emotional, that can have high highs, high and low lows. You really want to make sure that you get off to a good start because, Piglet and Huni and Lyra, these guys, on their best days, we have seen them absolutely crush people in the LCS, but, on their worst days, they have single-handedly lost games at times. So, they really are those guys that are high variance players, but we heard Huni talking in interviews about how he wants to kind of be a new Huni. He realizes the game is not just about him. He wants to be able to play for the team. So we'll see, if he's going to kind of turn over a new leaf here and show a different playstyle.
Those things are always so interesting to me. When a player says, the way that I've played the game, my perception of how to do League of Legends has now changed, and we're going to approach the game from an entirely new angle. I always approach that with a bit of skepticism because it's so hard to unlearn all the things that compounded together and created your game philosophy, your play style. And I really want to see how far that goes. Has Huni really become less of this solo carry, Huni's going to 1v9 the game type player? And is he going to move strictly for the team now? Is that really going to ring true? Or will he go back to his old Huni ways if those ways bring out the same results that they used to?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's pretty good for the team if you go 10-0 in lane.
Yeah,
just
that works out.
Game turn out. So we'll see what his interpretation is. But yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not just a logical thing, right? You're not always thinking, okay, this is what you do and then this is what you do. Most of the best players will tell you that a lot of it is instinctual.
Right.
The way that they knew how to make a certain play. Sometimes you'll ask a player and you're like, well, how did you know you could kill him there? Or how did you know to do this? He's like, well, I just knew. They can't always necessarily explain it. And I do think that Huni is one of those types of players where he just sees opportunities, he sees openings, and he just goes for it. He has the killer instinct, and that is what, for years allowed him to dominate in Europe, in Korea, in North America. He definitely has that killer instinct, and going to be looking to see if it is, on display here again today.
And if it is, that's what the fans are going to be looking for, because this is a guy who not only is he so good at the game, but he's so damn entertaining while doing it. This is a guy who just is always making a show out of everything. He's so fun to watch. He's a really energetic player, real big personality. I always enjoy getting to watch him on the Rift, and like we already said, him going up against a team that now has an equally big personality in Rush, I really want to see how those two butt heads. Obviously, you're not going to see a lane matchup since one's a top laner and one's a jungler, but still, it will be fun to see how that ends up playing out between these two sides. And Rush will be going up against Lyra on the side of Clutch Gaming, who has honestly had a pretty tumultuous road himself back in 2017. He was the shining star on the Envy roster, which was very unsuccessful overall, but he actually got first team NA/LCS All-Pro jungler during that split that Envy finished 10th because he played so well. But then this past year, he had a much lower overall level of performance. So the question becomes, which Lyra is it going to be?
Yeah, exactly. And why did it look like that, right? Because he was very much the carry jungler. He was the guy on Lee Sin, on Nidalee, taking over games. And despite the fact that his team was last, basically every win that they got felt like, well, Lyra did that, right?
Lyra popped off.
Yep. So it'll be interesting because when you talk to players, a lot of times they'll be very quick to tell you that just because someone is looking bad on stage is not always their fault. It can be a product of team environment. It can be a product of disagreements about how you should play the game or how the coach wants you to play the game. So we'll see if this new Clutch Gaming roster is going to fit Lyra better because, if you want to kind of think about how they could succeed, when you think back to Huni and Reignover really kind of being this incredible duo that smashed it in Europe and in North America, if Lyra can play this aggressive snowball-y style and play towards Huni's side of the map, well, that seems like a pretty damn good lane to try to get ahead.
Well, Echo Fox will start off this pick and ban phase by paying the Cassiopeia attacks on red side. Seems like that's probably going to become a staple here for a little while. Aatrox also banned out by them, along with the Akali, as Clutch Gaming decided to remove Irelia, and then the Lucian and the Urgot that we've already seen so much of today, we will not see them here in this game.
Yeah, we definitely will not. There is Galio, though. Sion is available. Those are kind of some of the highest priority. Galio, I'd still call him a tank, even though he's kind of building full AP, because of the damage reduction on his W, because of his magic shield passive, because of Aftershock and everything. He's still very, very tanky. But if anyone did want to go for a blind pick top laner, very likely to see something such as that Sion.
I'm pretty unsurprised to see the Galio locked in first for Clutch Gaming because I believe it was Demonte who I saw on Twitter the other night. Somebody posted, Week 1 LCS is going to be played on patch 9.1. The Galio nerfs aren't in there yet. And Demonte said something along the lines of, hooray, my professional career is saved. He was looking
come on, man. He's making a joke.
The Galio.
You going to throw him under the bus like that?
Not if he pops out on a Galio.
The man could play more than one champ. We hope.
I am using his own words. You can't throw somebody under the bus with their own words. That's
He's
like
already thrown himself.
They're driving the bus themselves at that
just
point.
Backing the bus up over him because he's already under there.
Well, Echo Fox have decided they're going to go ahead. They'll draft the Lovers duo in bottom lane with the Xayah and the Rakan. Clutch are going to respond. They'll pick up that Camille Galio combo that we saw how effective it can be with Leona in the bottom lane, who showed up as a pretty good counter to Rakan.
Yeah, some more very powerful engage. If you do hit that Zenith Blade onto Rakan, even if he is jumping back to the Xayah, you're going to follow along there. You can look to kind of really lock down Rakan, who can be very elusive. If you can hit that chain CC, lock him down, you can sometimes burst him out. It's looking like it will be the Sion as this kind of blind pick for the top side. It could be flexed around. Theoretically, this could be mid lane Sion or something along those lines. And yes, it could be the Camille on the top side, but we are expecting Demonte to get Galio, Lyra to be playing that Camille.
Going through the bans now, though. Let's see how they want to adapt this, knowing what each side has drafted so far. We'll see who they want to ban out. Who's that priority? And Victor is the name of the game for Echo.
Yeah, I was going to say Victor and maybe something along the lines of Vladimir, if they want to ban out some of the kind of popular picks right now into Sion. Champions where Huni could get a lane advantage and then try to take that elsewhere on the map. We have seen the Victor versus Sion matchup earlier today. We also did just see Vladimir into Sion, where Haunter did get very strong. Obviously they did lose that game, but you can see how that can kind of work out.
And keep in mind, I did have to just look this up to make sure. Since we're on 9.1, this is before the Rakan dash speed nerfs.
Yeah.
So I saw a bunch of players commenting on how Rakan is a much weaker pick on 9.2. I believe one of the phrasings was, Rakan initiates slower than my grandma after these changes. So nobody's really looking at Rakan as as big of a threat in 9.2, but in 9.1, the classic engage potential is still there for the champion. So that is one thing I'll be keeping an eye on here, as Vladimir and Victor banned out by Echo Fox. the mages whose names begin with V and who are very difficult to kill. A lot of things in common there between those two as Clutch Gaming decides Kha'Zix and Zoe, they're not so concerned about tough to kill. They're worried about killing you instantly, so they remove 2 champions who are very adept at doing that.
2 champions as well that Phoenix and Rush do like to play. Karthus coming through. So again, Karthus can be the flex pick. It can go mid, it can go bot, it can go jungle. Expecting for now it to be going over to Rush, but we'll see if this moves to Phoenix, if Rush wants to pick up something else. They're saving their last pick here so that Clutch Gaming doesn't really know where the line assignments are going to be. We do have Leona, Sivir, an option here for Clutch. Would give them some safety and some wave clear. The spell shield, in addition to having that ultimate for the engage that they've been drafting, makes a lot of sense there.
Sivir spell shield also feels really good against Karthus. Karthus having the inevitability of the sky laser over your head. There's no way to escape it, but Sivir's one of the few champions who does have a way out of that one, as Rumble will be the final pick of the draft here for Clutch Game.
So that is a Huni special. Rumble going to be going up to that top lane, very, very likely. You know, Rumble being able to pair up, again, we see that they have this Camille Galio combo. You lock them down, you layer the equalizer over top. That is a terrifying engage there coming out of Clutch, and it's also a champion that can, you know, have the potential to really get ahead and do well against this Sion. So Corki going to be mid, so it is going to, yeah, very likely going to be Corki mid, Sion top. It will be the Karthus jungle for Rush. Quite a bit of magic damage coming out here, but they do still have, obviously, the Xayah bringing that physical damage. So the return of Corki coming back for Phoenix, interesting.
That's one thing I was going to comment on is both these teams have plenty of AP damage. This isn't a game where your junglers are going to be able to build like a cowl and then just have ninja tabbies and armor items, and everybody's going to feel happy and no need to worry about it. There's going to need to be some MR itemization this time around, or people are going to quickly be melted away. Like you already said, Galio plus Camille plus the Rumble ultimate, and let's not forget about the fact that Leona can throw her own CC into that cauldron as well and just create something that is truly terrifying to have to deal with. This is our last game of the day, so both teams would love to end the debut of LCS 2019 by making their win be the last thing in the highlight reel. We'll see which one's able to pull it off. Both comps look very scary in their own right. We know how strong Xayah and Rakan are as a bottom lane, and last game we got to talk a lot about the power of winning lane matchups and how that puts your opponents on the back foot and makes them always have to be the ones trying to respond. Well, we know that Karthus is a jungler that if it's up to him, he wants to farm.
Yeah. He basically, in your ideal world, you are just power farming, and every time your ult is up, you're getting a kill. You're just ulting and you're assisting a fight elsewhere. They do have very good engage to set up that style of play. When you look at the Rakan, when you look at the Sion, you know, they can start a play, have the Karthus come in with that assist, try to get a kill, try to get those Dark Harvest stacks going, but he definitely wants to power farm. Lyra, I think, is going to want to be more in the face of Rush, trying to be aggressive, trying to pull off these ganks, and we're going to have to see how these lanes pan out, because I think Phoenix on this Corki should have a good advantage over Damonte, even going Klepto, so we have really been seeing a lot of that into these kind of more advantageous matchups.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, on to Summoner's Rift for the last game of the day. Damonte versus Phoenix here in the mid lane, as we're going to see nobody try to do anything just yet. As per usual, it's just line of scrimmage being drawn, both sides keeping an eye on the other one. And as you already mentioned during Champion Select and just a moment ago, it's Lyra's job, you would think, to go after Rush, to apply that pressure. And that's the situation that we saw Lyra shine in back in those 2017 Envy days when he was the guy popping off, when he was the one carrying. It was that aggressive style that really enabled him to do so. So this is your element, Lyra. Show us what you got.
Definitely, and I mean, if you leave Huni, you know, just alone in this matchup against Solo, he may have an advantage early, but Solo will get to a point. We've seen it against the Victor, we've seen it against the Vladimir. If you hit Adaptive Helm at a reasonable time, you're not very far behind, it can become really hard to actually continually pressure this guy. You get so much free health from your W, you know, Grasp and Overgrowth as well, stacking that up, so you become so insanely tanky. But if Lyra can get up there and snowball that lane, maybe he never is able to actually get that going. Maybe he can never survive that damage. And likewise, for Damonte, if he's left alone in the 1v1, he's likely going to be punished by this Klepto Corki. But incredible gank assist for Lyra, and there's no cleanse on Phoenix. He went TP. He didn't go heal, barrier, cleanse, nothing defensive. So flash taunt into that hook shot, that could be a dead Corki.
I love playing a game of League of Legends as the jungler where your lanes are something like Galio or Leona, because that's just inviting you. That's rolling out the red carpet. Here, sir, please come to my lane. I've got a wonderful spread of gifts and appetizers and all sorts of stuff.
That's how you bribe the
Yeah,
juggler.
if you have something like a Rumble, I'm like, sorry, Rumble, I'm not going to visit your house because you don't have nearly as good of appetizers and gifts and stuff. I'm going to make sure I'm hanging out with Galio and Leona the entire time. Demonte tries to make the Justice Punch happen, but Phoenix knows how to sidestep out of the way of that one. They'll just keep on farming up here in the mid lane, and as this game goes on, remember, Rush also with the Dark Harvest on the Karthus means those ults are going to do more and more and more, and if this goes too late, you're staring down the barrel of a situation where a team fight can start off with him just channeling ulti to take everyone down to half HP.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying. I mean, some of these champions have some ways to somewhat deal with it. You talked about the Spell Shield, Leona can pop W, Galio can start channeling the taunt, the infrastructure there, that can help a bit, but a fed Karthus is absolutely terrifying. You can knock, half HP off of a lot of members of this team right from the get-go, and if that's followed up or preceded by Rakan and Sion crashing in there, that can be a one team fight right off the bat.
One of the only champions in the game you're actually afraid when he starts running it down. As soon as you see him just charging at you, you know that there's some reason that you've got to respect that.
Yep.
Because even if the rest of the team might not be around, sometimes all it can take is a couple of those Qs followed up by the R, and you are out of there.
Bottom to win, man.
Yeah.
Dying in the right spot. That's what
all
it's
you're
about.
doing is giving them shutdowns so you can take the money later with your R. It's a very advanced strategy. As bottom side, Hakuo and Apollo maintain decent enough control over the lane for now. Will be shoved back a little bit. As mid lane, it's Demonte who's looking at a built-up creep wave that Phoenix has found here for himself. Farm staying relatively even here early on across all three lanes as the Winds of War come out. Speaking of Winds of War, I know you mentioned the... Oh, never mind. We got Lyra making an excellent flash into the stun here in mid lane. Phoenix will be slowed, but he gets himself away for now. Winds of War will manage to take him low, but I believe the nullifying orb from the sorcery subset of runes pops there for Phoenix and prevents him from dropping any lower.
Yeah, that mini Hex Drinker as well. That leg sweep actually from Camille just caught, he was too close to him actually. He didn't catch the outside of the rim, so it didn't get the slow. Was a really nice flash from Lyra. It was actually the reactive flash to redirect the hook shot after Phoenix had flashed.
Was super good.
That was beautiful, but at the end of the day, Phoenix survives. It's 2 flashes for just the one, and he gets out of there. So he's going to be feeling really good about that, and so is Rush, who's going to be continually farming it up, hoping his lanes survive.
Yeah, Rush now feels a lot more comfortable because you're like, okay, if this Camille invades me, he doesn't have flash anymore. So this is one big less worry that he has to deal with. Demonte TP's back in, only to get a phosphorus bomb immediately as a welcoming present. Phoenix will continue just trying to push this out here, farm it up. Rush hovering the lane just to make sure they weren't setting up some sort of a cheeky gank as soon as the TP came back in.
Yep. And that's a really good call out because that can be one of the most devastating things is actually getting repeat ganked right after you TP back.
Oh, it's a terrible feeling.
If the wave is pushing towards you, you get dove on that wave. It can be lights out. You lose the farm, you lose the experience. They got the kill goal.
GG go next.
Exactly. So really smart, small play there from Rush, just covering his mid laner, making sure there's no sort of situation like that. And they are aware of where Lyra is, but Lyra is aware of where Rush is. He's on a ward. He may not know this.
Rush tries to get himself away here. Lyra doesn't want to go any further, recognizes there's no real kill potential there. Partly thanks to the fact that Lyra has no flash.
Yeah.
But Rush getting himself out there still feels comfortable. 40 CS compared to the 30 of Lyra. Lyra does have Scuttle Crab control with his support also rotating up there just to make sure Rush has 0 chance to contest that neutral mini objective.
And we may see Lyra starting to get more aggressive as Demonte hits 6, right? Because that is really when the Galio is going to be there for the backup. He does unlock that ultimate right now. But part of that is being able to keep the lane pushed. Because if you're locked under your turret as Galio, it's very hard, or at least very expensive to roam away because you're going to be giving up farm. You're going to be, losing a lot guaranteed. So then you have to really make sure that those roams do pay off. So we'll see if Phoenix can kind of keep him locked under the turret, keep Rush free farming, and really kind of support each other in that way.
Or does Demonte just decide, okay, I don't care if I lose out on these things myself. I'm here to help my team. That's the question that you always have to pose as well. I remember talking to Deficio about this during Worlds where he described how Team Vitality from EU played during the summer split of last year, saying, yeah, mid laner hits level 3, doesn't care about his lane anymore, just goes and helps everybody else.
I mean, if you can make it work, right? It's not that there's no value in doing that. It's just that it's high risk, right? You still can't get the big reward, and Hooney's going in!
Speaking of high risk, Rush gets a whole lot of pain. First blood over to Hooney, who spots him out and equalizes him.
That is Hooney if I ever saw it. I mean, you want to talk about high risk play? He's like, yeah, I'll flash over the wall on you. Let's do it. Huni just got in there and just barbecued Rush.
He's trying to leave the old Huni life behind, but the old Huni life still finds him somewhere in the jungle.
Yep.
Damonte trying to go for the cheeky backwards Justice Punch there to get the faster knockup. But let's take another look here at how Huni makes this happen.
I mean, this is just great, right? Like, he sees Rush over the wall.
Like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, you're dead. He goes in, he trades flashes, so not only does he get that kill and his first blood, he traded flashes, so that is just brilliant. It's going to make Rush a lot less effective in the team fights if he does want to go for that strategic int where you're trying to flash in on the back line. Hey, man, it's not just a pure int, right? There's some strategy behind it.
Right,
Positioning.
Yeah, it's not an int, it's just a strategic.
It's like a big brain int, you know? You're like, I respect that.
200 IQ, where the I stands for int. 200 intelligence quotient. It writes itself. It writes itself as
Good
Clutch Gaming will move up to try to take the blue buff away from their opponents. They do have the Hextech ultimatum ready if somebody steps too close. Vulcan looking for the Zenith Blade there, not going to find it onto anyone. The blue buff is secured by Lyra. I always like doing that when you've got your team nearby. Even if your mid laner doesn't have a blue, you smite the one away from your opponents, give your mid laner yours later when there's no risk of it being contested. You don't want to accidentally give it away to your opponents. Sweep
Or
not going to find the mark.
You just smite both.
I mean, that's the power play. That's how you truly establish your dominance. I guess if we're talking about wanting to see Lyra be the big carry here, that's how you do it.
He's playing Galio. He doesn't need it.
Well, Huni's feeling good here in the top lane. He's got his Sorcerer's Shoes completed. He's up on farm compared to his opponent. Lyra just continuing to farm up here in the bottom side. Decides to sweep the Infernal Drake. Drags it over. Just walks on out. While Apollo and Hakuo in this duo that has been so traditionally lane dominant in the past, ever since that Leona counter was sort of discovered, it really shuts them down. They can't go aggro like they would otherwise want to.
Yeah, it is very risky. You know, if you dash in there and try to get in on Piglet, Leona can lock you down. You can get bursted out. You know, when you're stunned up by the Leona, you're going to hit both sides of that boomerang blade from Sivir, and that is a lot of damage. So things, you know, going fairly evenly on the bot side. Both sides just kind of exchanging farm, and it is important for both these teams that their bot laner do well because they are the main source of physical damage, right? We talked about how there's tons of magic damage coming out of the Corki, the Karthus, you know, the Rumble and the Galio, but if you don't have any AD threat behind that, then they can just stack on Mara and just kind of ignore that AD carry.
I mean, yeah, on the blue side you have a Camille, but Camille's on a jungler's economy, which is going to mean a warrior and a Tiamat and Asterix.
Yeah.
That's not it.
And he's not the man to kill Sion, right? You know, he can maybe burst out on Squishy, but you do need that consistent damage, and Sivir and Xayah looking like they're ramping up to do just that.
BF swords on both 80 carries. One thing that I'm also keeping track of here in the mid lane, a power spike that may be useful here for Clutch Gaming. The Galio is going to have his first item much faster than the Corki. Corki wants to go for a Trinity Force. Galio goes for a Hextech Proto Belt. There's about like a 1,400 gold difference between those two items. So if Damonte can manage to grab that first item and utilize that somehow before Phoenix has his own power spike to respond with, that may be an avenue here for Clutch Gaming, who are enjoying an almost 1,000 gold lead thanks to Huni's first blood, and just the fact that their top lane has a farm advantage, their jungle has a farm advantage, the other two lanes are rather even. Stopwatch also up for Lyra's Camille. I always try to keep track of. I actually think that is one of the most team fight altering items in the game right now, so it's very important to keep track of, especially as we're getting closer towards the mid game, up to 11 minutes now on the clock. Rush hanging out in this brush, thinking maybe they'll go for it. Maybe Vulcan's just going to think that Xayah looks a little bit too tempting.
Yeah, Lyra was heading down, but now they're pinging back towards the mid lane, so I was wondering if they were onto this, but it doesn't seem like they are. Nice engage!
Engage from Hakuo is able to find both. Piglet and Vulcan get themselves out, and now the re-engage comes in. Vulcan looking to make something happen. TP comes out from both sides. Lyra makes his rotation down. TPs, of course, both completed. Not allowed to cancel those anymore. Everyone from both sides is down here on this bottom end of the map. It's Infernal Drake first, Azael, and it is time to fight. Hakuo has no ultimate. Remember, it was just used in that bottom lane engage. Piglet, no summoners, no ultimate himself. Clutch Gaming head back out. They don't want to start the Infernal Drake up just yet. It'll still do a lot of damage at this point in the game. Lyra goes over the wall. He's trying to find them. Galio ulti's coming in. Apollo's going to be popped. Rush going to be in some danger now here too. Over the wall goes Lyra. Keeps himself alive as Solo tries to get away. Phoenix is barely alive at 100 HP, but Lyra will stay the same. even after the sky bombs fall from Karthus. Damonte wants to continue forward. Solo's gonna be taken low. He does have MR, so it is difficult to try to find this kill. And Huni bites off way more than he can chew. The Winds of War will not claim Phoenix today, and Damonte has to get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, Phoenix able to survive there. So critical for Echo Fox. Clutch could have just backed up and taken the Infernal instead.
Yeah.
They try to press for more. They think they can pull off the dive, maybe get the kills and a first turret, or the kills and the Dragon. Some good play by Echo Fox. Some nice CC, though, locking down Huni and making that just a kill trade.
It was a good initial fight from Clutch, but greed is a deadly, deadly sin. They learn it the hard way, and now it's Echo Fox who has the opportunity to turn around and grab that ever so juicy Infernal Drake. And let's wait.
He's got no
And
vision,
Lyra.
and he has no ward.
And he has no flash, so if you go in at all, this could be a suicide.
Oh!
He gets it! That's 2017 Envy, Lyra. That's which Lyra we saw today.
That is such a tilter. He had no vision, no flash. But here it is. Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Back to the play. This was such a nice corridor for Clutch to fight in. They're all lined up for the equalizer. They are getting roasted. The initial play so good for Clutch, but then they're kind of getting baited by this low health bar here from Phoenix. And as they move forward, you can see the rest of their team is heading down to bot lane to try to push it in for the eventual dive they are hoping for, but there it is. Knock up again, ultimate for the third straight CC on Huni. He can just not even control his character, and he is squishy. They knock him down. That alone saving them and thinking,
And
okay,
then this.
you get the Infernal for free off that, right?
Nope.
In he goes, leg sweep, smite, perfectly timed, out he goes, doesn't even give up his life.
Wow, pure style. And whether you thought the turnaround on the dive in bottom lane was the big play or the quick steal on the Infernal, let us know what you think the biggest plays of the day are. Tweet at LOL Esports with hashtag LCS Big Plays so we can know what you know were the biggest moments of the day as Clutch Gaming will grab themselves another neutral objective.
Is there a way to like one-up it? Is there like LCS really big plays?
LCS insane play. I don't know. We can't. Okay, actually, don't listen to us because we don't want to confuse the hashtags because our social media people probably get mad at us for doing that. So please ignore all that. Tweet hashtag LCS Big Plays to let us know which plays are the biggest. As Clutch Gaming currently sit at a 1,500 gold lead, 2 kills up, 1 Infernal Drake up. Hakuo trying to make some moves onto Piglet, but it's not going to succeed today. Vulcan moves in, only finds the slow on his ultimate. Hakuo going to be taking some damage now. Here comes the dunk, and Piglet's able to find the kill. They're trying to move forward and look for even more. Apollo going into the ulti, getting himself back. Root comes through onto Vulcan. Echo Fox retreats, but they've already lost 1.
Yeah, nice turnaround there again by Clutch. They are pressing, and they have the Rift Herald in their back pocket here as well. Moving up towards mid lane, there are almost everyone from Echo Fox down on the bot side, so they could just drop Rift Herald mid and try to crack this turret. So that's what I'm expecting to see here, and they're going for the play.
Rift Herald summoned up. Turret's already about 60%,
Yeah,
so as long as Shelly gets her charge off, which I don't see any real way to stop.
You can always count on Shelly.
Kabu. Shelly takes it down, but of course, Shelly did her job, and now she gets abandoned. Left to just be a 25 gold bounty in the mid lane.
She's going to a better place.
It's a hard knock life. I'm pretty sure she's going back to the Void, and I've not read all of the lore, but I'm pretty sure that's not a better place.
Going to a better place. So let's leave it at that.
We're sending her,
really
sending her to a farm up the road. Don't worry about it. As Rush will just keep on farming up here on the Karthus. And I mentioned earlier, he was ahead of the Camille in farms 40 to 30. But now, ever since Lyra has been able to sort of get himself rolling, it's so dangerous for Rush to go out into any sort of darkness up against this Camille that's now ahead. He's sort of just had to fall behind.
Yeah. I mean, Karthus, from ahead and Karthus from even can really contribute a tremendous amount of damage. Karthus from behind can start feeling pretty sad because they kill you, your Defile is there, you're dead, but no one really cares. It's not really doing
Like,
much.
all right, it did 30 damage, cool.
Yeah, okay.
Please go back to your spawn platform. Yeah, all right. See you, buddy. Bottom side, Apollo and Hakuo, though. The Xayah Rakan has just not done what they wanted it to do so far. Even though Hakuo found that initial engage in the 2 versus 2 from that first play, the escape from Clutch Gaming was there, and then afterwards, the dive they attempted between the 2 turrets just couldn't find the mark. So these guys are going to have to get some more cohesion going on between them, make sure that they time those right with the rest of their teammates if they want this to work, because the game is slipping further and further out of Echo Fox control. It's a 3K gold lead for Clutch, not even 17 minutes in.
Yeah, and they have some very good late game insurance, right? With that Sivir who has been kind of farming it away. You know, you said the Rakan and Xayah haven't really been able to get much done. And I think a lot of it is because the good play of Piglet and Vulcan. These picks seem like a good answer. They have played, you know, a very stable game. You know, farming it up, you know, knowing that they have that late game insurance for the Sivir. So as long as these other guys are continuously making plays and buying time for the Sivir, there's so much frontline that it's going to be hard for Echo Fox to get back to the Sivir.
And as we're getting into the mid game now, look at the itemization on the solo lanes of Clutch Gaming. Oblivion Orb for both. Sorcerer's Shoe on Tahuni there as well. The only opponent with any magic resistance is Solo on the Scion. Everybody else goes right into the magical blender as soon as these guys drop that damage on them. It's so much burst going into the mid-game part. I don't know how you answer this.
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, everyone used to always talk in the Rumble days when that was a really common pick about double spell pen level 11, right? He is at that point now with a full lane entries to boot.
Tahuni getting himself away from Solo here. Doesn't want anything to do with that Scion. Remember, that is, even if there's only one guy on the enemy team you don't want to deal with, if that one guy strolls up, it's time to take a hike. But Clutch Gaming will continue maintaining control over the map right now. You can see they've got vision established all across the midpoint here. The only quote-unquote vision across the midpoint for Echo Fox is the Scuttle Crab there in the top part of the map. But it's Clutch who are pushing forward. It's Clutch who are setting down forward wards and choking Echo Fox further and further out of the map. Fox now, they're at a spot where they're scared to contest their own blue buff.
Yeah, it's getting really rough. I mean, you talked about how much Lyra has been taking away, and it's just continuously attacking Rush. You know, it has been this team plan. It's not just Lyra walking in by himself. They move up. Vulcan's dropping vision. Demonte's rotating over. They are attacking the Karthus, trying to keep him down and trying to keep him from really being a factor in these later stages.
Which, honestly, they've completed that objective so far. Runic Echoes, Sorcerer's Shoe, not exactly the kind of guy you're terrified of in a team fight, as Mountain Drake #1 will be the second Drake this game. That's going to be picked up here by Clutch. No contest. Echo Fox deciding that's not worth the team fight.
And you've also got to note, Dark Harvest has relatively low base damage now. You know,
really
after
low.
the initial nerfs, so you really do have to stack it up. Rush has been able to proc Dark Harvest once this whole game, right? Because he's behind, because they're not really getting any fights that are going their way, that has not scaled up whatsoever.
Kuni dropping the ultimate in top lane as Solo tries to shove up and get back. Rumble ulti, not just a great team fight tool, but also a great timing and momentum tool for making sure that you don't get caught off guard. Make sure that you can get back and shop in a time that allows you to move up with your team when they want to. Lyra level 11 here on this Camille means he does have the rank 2 of the Hextech Ultimatum. And it seems like everything's still in Clutch Gaming's wheelhouse, I guess. What they want to decide to do. They have all the options right now. Do you want to continue just farming it up? Do you want to go in? Do you want to force a play? How do you want to do this? Kills versus objectives. They can do anything they want right now because Echo Fox seems so afraid.
Yeah, they have to be, honestly, with all the engage, with all the vision that they have, you know, been getting that you had pointed out. But that being said, Echo Fox still does have good scaling of themselves. Karthus has incredible late game. You have double marksman, which is going to pump out a tremendous amount of damage. So if Echo Fox can hang on, you know, not allow the gold lead to expand, you know, protect the Baron, then they certainly can win late game fights. Because when you're hitting, you know, the 2-3 item power spikes, and you have double marksman plus a Karthus, and then you have 2 other engagers, like that is a strong team fight as well.
Scale to 4 items. Make sure your opponents aren't at 6 items at the same time. You're going to be doing all right.
That's a good part of it. Yeah, that is a big part of it.
But Echo Fox, they're still only down about 3K, so the gold lead that I talked about earlier, it hasn't bled further, which is something that I always look at when it comes to a mid-game state where one team does have a considerable lead. If it keeps bleeding, the game's probably going to be over very soon, but Fox have done a good job, if nothing else, of staunching that. As Vulcan's going to walk up, finds Rush over the wall. There comes the CC chain into even more. Rush is in some trouble. He is gone. That's the catch potential.
Yep, down he goes. They do commit the flash. They commit a couple ultimates. But hey, kill is theirs. Baron is up, and 21 minutes. I mean, it's still pretty risky to go for this, but they're going to start it up. It has been spotted by that blue ward. We'll see if Echo Fox can do anything about this. Remember, the Mountain Dragon makes a big difference here.
Mountain Drake will help. Lyra's at about half HP, so that's one thing Echo Fox can keep track of. If you can kill the jungler, maybe that's going to work out. Demonte going in, looking to find the damage down onto Apollo, gets himself away, utilizing the power of the ulti plus the flash. Solo now going to be tanking up 5 members of Clutch Gaming, gets himself over the wall. Echo Fox will disengage for now. Lyra looking to go even further. will not continue to chase Solo, who gets himself into the brush and keeps safe for now. Echo Fox do a good job of losing no one and stopping the Baron.
Yeah, stopping that Baron was so huge there. They did lose a kill. They lost some summoners, but it was at least a summoner trade, and they prevent the Baron from going down. Losing it this early in the game would have been catastrophic for Echo Fox.
21 minutes into the game, getting Baron is a pretty good side for any team out there, but it did cost Echo Fox some resources. They did have to use the flash on their big front line and on their AD carry. Apollo also using the ulti, but that'll be up before too much longer. Flash was also used there on Damonte, trying to set up the play onto Apollo. It's a good thing he's on an AD carry like Xayah, who has that get out of jail free card with the ultimate, because otherwise you're dead.
Yeah, definitely a case. And, did do a good job escaping. I thought Solo might have been getting actually chased down, might have gone down there, but get a good flash over that kind of big part of the wall to escape. So Echo Fox survives to fight another day, but they are still down 4K. It's the Mountain and the Infernal on top of that. And one of the things that's really impressing me most about Clutch is, you talk about high variance team, you're thinking, okay, people doing ridiculous plays, people going for crazy stuff. We've seen a little bit of that, but their vision play has been damn good. That is, reserved, intelligent macro play. They really have been dominating the vision game, so it's not just going for these, high variance plays. They seem to have some really solid foundations that they're displaying in this game.
It's exactly what I want to see in week one from a team. Show me that you've got something to build up on as the season goes forward. Show us that you're well established in those basic elements that every team needs if they really want to be able to push forward and go look towards that upper echelon, be one of those elite teams. As the Infernal Drake will spawn in 30 seconds. Lyra, that is not where you want to be, my friend, and there is no way you're saving him out of that one. Vulcan looking to return some damage now onto their opponents. Equalizer down onto a choke point there in the middle of the jungle. Rush channels the ulti, not going to find any kills with it just yet. Huni looking for some damage here down onto Solo. Damonte wants to go in, able to find the dunk, but it's only down onto Sion. Very tanky with the adaptive helm. Still going to be kept alive. Piglet into the back line. Multiple members low, but the kills will not come through. It's a double kill over to Rush. It's Echo Fox coming up huge.
They turn it around, and even Phoenix survives with a beautiful stopwatch there. What a fight for Echo Fox. They needed it, and they found it. The pick on Lyra, really making things happen. And Solo is back. They want this Infernal.
There's big plays, and then there's that. What a turnaround for the side of Echo Fox. 3 kills for free. Infernal Drake gift wrap sent directly to your doorstep. This is what this team needed, and we are back to almost even ground.
Yeah, they are right back in it off the back of that one. Here it is, Lyra trying to play up for that vision, trying to extend that, but the rest of the team wasn't with him. Clutch decides, hey, we can win this fight anyway. They go in, but Rush has already flashed out, absorbed a lot of that damage, and then it's only really Solo that Clutch has access to. They're piling so much damage into him, but they're not quite able to finish him off. And all of these low health members of Echo Fox are still staying alive. Piglet now flashing in, trying to make this big play here, does not pan out. And we are back to live. Clutch was trying to rush the Baron, but will be pushed off.
Clutch going for that 2-man Baron. They get it down to about 40%, but the problem is their own health bars are about equally low, which now gives Echo Fox priority over the mid lane. We talked about how Echo Fox was slowly being choked out of their own half of the map. They had no presence on the other side. Well, now you're starting to see Echo Fox vision appear more in neutral territory. You're starting to see them creep back out onto the map now that they see, hey, this isn't even fight.
Yeah, exactly. They're able to finally fight back a little bit, get some of that vision. Even if it is not really across the river, it is at least in the river for a bit, and they're working quickly towards those 3 items on the marksman. You can see both of them are sitting on 2. They have the pickaxe, which is very likely going to be that IE. When both Phoenix and Apollo have their IE, they are going to shred through a lot of these guys on Clutch Gaming unless Clutch gets that perfect engage, unless they can delete them right at the start of the fight, which they do have the possibility of doing with their engage.
Important thing to keep note of is also the flash from Piglet that was used in the last fight that didn't get him any kills. He will not have for the next one. Apollo's flash also almost up again. There will be more outplay potential for the side of the AD carry on Echo Fox. Phoenix also having his flash ready to go. Mooney's off to the side here. Equalizer ready to fire. The rest of the team's not close enough. It's not like you can go in just off of an Equalizer alone. They really want to get somebody else in there. Hextech ultimatum into a Galio ulti, but there's no chance to do that just yet. and you can just see the difference. Just the way the team's position, the movement of Clutch Gaming after that last fight in the enemy jungle. They have to pay so much more respect now because it's not the same game.
It really isn't. It's that much closer, and they're trying to do their due diligence. You can see, again, they have cleared out all the vision around the Baron. 3 pinks in that area. They are trying to now get themselves into a spot where they can reset and try to find a good fight in. Will this be it?
Solo, the first one to face check, as it should be for the side of Echo Fox. We already saw how tanky he was in the last fight. You can't pour the resources into this guy. Echo Fox knows that. They'll always be sending him forward to make sure Clutch Gaming isn't setting up one of those trap rushes like they were trying to do. Equalizer comes down, finds its way onto Apollo, but the counterattack comes in. Solo's on the front line, but instead they're able to catch out the Karthus. Rush is down. He'll throw out the ultimate, but it won't find a whole lot of success just yet. Rush was trying to make a flank happen, but now the flank has arrived. It's Lyra going in. He goes into the stasis, keeping himself alive for now. Hawkmo wants to return some damage. He's able to set things up for Phoenix, who grabs the kill. Piglet wants to get himself away, but Phoenix is able to find a lot of damage here. There comes your decimating smash, as Solo can't quite get it. The rockets continue to fire. The health bars continue to fall.
It's so close.
Solo's still going to be somehow alive, and it's just a 1-for-1.
Both teams walking away with slivers there, Flowers. 1 auto, 1 ricochet crit coming through from Piglet. Could have cleaned up perhaps multiple of them, but they are gonna both walk away. It's a 1-for-1. How is this a 1-for-1?
What a battle. Let's take another look here.
Yeah, Clutch deciding to engage. They use that equalizer. They're going for it. And then this looked like it could be a huge flank from Solo, but he's not able to catch anyone. The rest of Echo Fox was zoned out by the equalizer. Clutch makes a great turn onto Rush, bursts him out, and then Lyra E-flash right onto Apollo, but again, the ultimate just barely in time, pulling him back, and then it looks like, okay, this could be turned around by Echo Fox. Lyra goes down. Piglet, the stopwatch, but he gets stunned up right out of it. You're thinking maybe they can knock them down, but a great Winds of War actually from Demonte, zoning out those low HP marksmen, so no one can finish off another kill.
What that looked like to me with that flank initially was Rush thinking, okay, my Scion's gonna go in, they'll knock them up into the air, they'll all have to fall in and protect him, and then I can come behind from the flank and die right in the middle. But instead, since Scion's initiation didn't quite find it, Rush just shows up, he's like, hey guys, oh no, I'm dead. And you can't quite make that flank work out. It's unfortunate for him, but the rest of the team did a good job making sure it was 1-for-1. And look at that damage in the last fight, nearly 5K. From Piglet's Sivir. You mentioned earlier how you've got that late game insurance with this champion when it's able to farm up, and that's exactly what we're moving towards. Almost 30 minutes into the game, Drake number 4 coming alive here will be the second Earth Drake. For Echo Fox, this would mean complete equalization of elementals between the two teams. For Clutch Gaming, this is a big time boost in your ability to secure both Barons and turrets as the game goes on. But right now, we're deadlocked in the mid lane.
Yep, and Piglet, you know, with all these guys, all these bodies who are going to be in front of him, he can just be ricocheting off minions, ricocheting off the Scions. He doesn't need to always expose himself, put himself in danger. So he's been doing a good job of getting that damage out. And you can see Hawkmo on the side, wants to threaten the flank. So he's trying to make Clutch walk through this choke where they can go, then go for the pincer.
Equalizer comes down. Rush going to be taken very low. The Drake is secured by the side of Clutch Gaming. Rush decides to drop that ulti, but he's not going to find a lot with it just yet. Now they're looking to find even more kills. Solo taken very low. Lyra looking to make the kill happen down onto the enemy top laner. Instead, the damage won't quite be enough until now. Another shield going through. Lyra goes into the Hextech ultimatum. Meanwhile, the fight is going to be happening on the other side as well, up against Phoenix. Lyra still alive. Phoenix still alive. So many health bars low. Still only one guy in the ground, but how?
Ridiculous that not more people are going down. I mean, Phoenix flashed forward in their team and still is able to survive and get out. Not able to pick up a kill either, though. This still does go heavily the way of Clutch. They got the kill. They got the dragon.
This game's crazy.
Double Mountain plus Inferno. This game is ridiculously close.
This is how I want to end day 1 of the 2019 season, with a back and forth slugfest all the way up until the bell rings. It's still about a 4,000 gold lead for the side of Clutch Gaming, but you would think that everything is just even the way that the team fights are playing out. Banshee's Veil completed now onto Rush means it'll be a little bit hard to pick him off, catch him out. There aren't a ton of things to really pop that with. Winds of War, I suppose you could try to pop it with the Sivir Boomerang, but Rush is typically staying away from the front lines. He's often off to the side, looking for an opportunity to do the strategic int you were talking about, where Karthus just literally walks himself into the back. And I mean that in all seriousness this time.
You want to die on top of the
because you
zipper.
just walk right into the back line and die so you can do as much damage as possible. Phoenix will finally take down that tier 1 there in the top side. That is the first turret of the game Echo Fox has managed to claim, finally getting on the turret board just 31 minutes into the match, as that will close the gold gap down to about 3,500. Still no Baron taken by either side. We saw Clutch Gaming make attempts at it earlier, but then ever since the fateful fight in the bottom part of the jungle on the Echo Fox side, things have just been this tug of war.
Yeah, they have been really close, really back and forth. It's been the slimmest margins, really deciding fights on either side. Now they're going in!
Solo deciding it's time to pop the Scion ulti, but after not finding anything, he has to pull himself back. TP coming in from the side of Clutch Gaming. It's Demonte showing up, but the root comes out from Apollo to keep him in place. Apollo down to about 10% HP means he's not battle ready at all. Clutch Gaming sees this, and it's a green light for Baron.
Yeah, they are heading right over to Baron. We'll see if Apollo can try to lifesteal up off some minions or get a little bit of healing back in some way. You look at Demonte, he is up over the red buff, trying to set up a flank. He knows Echo Fox is going to check. He wants to come in behind them and find the taunt. He's looking for it now. This could be the game-winning fight.
You still have Lyra's ultimate. You still have Demonte's
Over the wall!
ultimate. Demonte goes in for a massive multi-man taunt, and Echo Fox is out of there. Solo will try to do anything he can, but Phoenix falls next. A shutdown for Demonte, and that is exactly what Clutch Gaming needed.
It has been a day of incredible flanks. Hobelter deciding the earlier game. This one didn't even need the TP. Demonte sneaking behind them, finding the taunt over the wall, and single-handedly winning them that fight and taking them this Baron.
The monster! This man absolutely decided the fate of the game with that one. Clutch Gaming living up to their name. They find the clutch moment right here.
They had no idea where Demonte was. They lose track of him. He's not on any vision. And look at this, picture perfect. Hits onto both the marksmen there. QSS from Phoenix, but Apollo dies before he can even ult. And the fight is already lost. Echo Fox gets wiped. They lose the Baron. And Clutch now has everything they need to close out their first game of the season.
That was textbook. You sign up for League of Legends 101, you sit down, the teacher says, open your book to page 200, Galio Wombo combos. You open it up to a GIF of that fight. Perfectly done by Demonte. Clutch Gaming now back in that driver's seat. We talked about him being in earlier, 6,500 gold up. Baron buff, locked, loaded, ready to go. They've got tier 2s to still siege. They only broke that tier 1 line earlier, and ever since then, things have been in such a stalemate they weren't able to go further. Now there's a lot of standing gold on this map that's theirs for the taking.
There really is, and one more mistake from Echo Fox here, one last team fight near your base, the game will end. That being said, Echo Fox still, if they can find those engages, if they can find their opportunities, Corky's on 3 items, Zai's on 3 items. So yes, they got dominated in that fight, but if these marksmen can free fire, if Rush can get into those backlines and die in a good position, then you can still take a fight.
I love the fact that we get to say lines like that when Karthus is in the game. Just make sure you die in the right spot. And it's not sarcastic at all. It's literally how the champion's supposed to be played. As top side gets sieged up on the tier 2, bottom side gets sieged up on the tier 2, while pressure remains mid lane just to make sure Echo Fox doesn't feel comfortable with the rotation. Still about 90 seconds left on that Baron buff. It's already earned over 3,000 gold to the side of Clutch Gaming. Solo wants to initiate, but he won't find the chance. Dipping into the side of the jungle, Clutch Gaming gets themselves back, and that equalizer just melts through Apollo's health bar. Solo gets himself stunned up. That's still a very tanky target. You won't be able to find much more onto him, but you did force your opponents back. You have paved the way for your other 2 lanes to push, and the pressure continues.
Exactly. It's Baron minions in 3 waves. They are knocking down this turret on the bottom side very quickly. And Lyra is going to have another wave of minions coming in soon after, so we'll see. Does Echo Fox just willingly give up 1 inhib? Do they look for a fight? They're going to have to choose pretty quick, or these towers are just going to be going down.
We saw in the past game with Golden Guardians, even if you win a fight in your base, if you give everything up first, it might just be too little, too late. Echo Fox has to be ready, especially Hakuo. This is your big initiator. This is the guy who it's on his shoulders. If you're going to go in, he's got to be the one to start it off. Echo Fox tries to continue holding on, but they've lost 3 inhibitor turrets. The inhibitors themselves still standing. Solo with a less than desirable ult on that one, but Phoenix wants to go in. Package delivery is successful. Vulcan on the front line. Hawkwell is not able to find big initiation just yet. Piglet is going to fall. Echo Fox is able to find 2. This could be their fight.
Yeah, that is a big kill there. They're going to get the shutdown as well. On to Piglet. 2 more shutdowns are still available, so still a lot of gold to pick up. Actually, no, I think they got a shutdown on Lyra also, so taking 2 of those off the map, a lot of gold back in their pockets, and that's about a 2K swing. They're still down quite a lot, but they show their power in this game. They show what a fight can look like when they get what they want.
And they get what they want without losing their base. That's what's so important. Yes, it is vulnerable, but vulnerable and decimated are 2 very different things. The map is still in an even state. There's no super minions. Echo Fox have managed to grab themselves an Earth Drake, so they've got some extra objective control. Let's take another look here as
Close
Phoenix
your eyes for that first part.
In.
Phoenix just jives right in there, and they're onto Vulcan, and then look at Piglet on the side getting crit a couple times in a row by Apollo. That Ignite, so powerful from Hakuo as well. And Piglet just gets shredded, and not only did he die, that was Piglet with Flash. So now he doesn't have that summoner available, and is going to be much more susceptible to be getting caught out.
That's the true tragedy of this game, I think, for Piglet is we've seen him use the Flash unsuccessfully so many times. Yeah. Summoner spells are such a big resource in League of Legends. To use them and have it still not work out is a huge detractor from your overall ability to carry and to make those big plays. But we'll see Echo Fox, their carries currently have those flashes, the heal available for Apollo, and let's be honest, he's gonna need it because every time Huni drops that equalizer, his health pretty much just goes MIA.
Yeah, like 2 ticks and you lose half your health. It's pretty insane.
Feels bad, man.
I mean, you talk about the importance of summoners. Even more important on a champion like Sivir, who doesn't have a dash, who doesn't have a warp. If you're playing Ezreal, okay, great. Your flash is down, but you essentially have a flash on like a 6-second cooldown. So, it's not so bad. Even Apollo without flash still has his ultimate. They still have more tools to stay safe. Corki with the Valkyrie. Sivir relies on that summoner, relies on the protection of her team, and they are going in.
Oh, she's trying to get out, but Solo wants to go around. He tries to drift it, but it won't quite work just yet. Lyra going in on top of multiple people.
That equalizer
down, but the equalizer's got some damage. It's a rampage over to Demonte. A double kill as he takes down Rush. Echo Fox is heading for the hills, but they're heading for the graveyard first. It's 4 dead, and Clutch Gaming will push for the win.
They have done it with the perfect engage. Lyra comboing up with Huni there and roasting the entire team. Clutch is in the base and will claim their first win of the season.
Solo, the last man standing. He'll just be occupied for now with having to get back. As the TP comes in, Demonte says, make sure to get me in the victory screenshot as Clutch Gaming will find their first win of 2019.
What a back and forth game this was. So close in so many of the team fights. People living with 1 auto, 10% HP. Both teams staying in it for so long. But Clutch always felt like they were that 1 step ahead. They were that 1 step closer to victory. Only losing 1 tower throughout the game. Always playing well around vision and consistently throughout the game being able to find those strong engages.
It was a war between these 2 teams, but the big thing that I'm looking at, especially for a team that we described as high variance before the game, was how well Clutch played those fundamentals that we were talking about earlier. The fact that you move around as a team, you play together, you set down the vision, you take things slow, you don't always have to go for these crazy plays. And then if a crazy play presents itself to you, if Rush happens to throw a Skittle Bomb over the wall and you can flash the Golem wall and just kill him instantly, Huni's still there to pop off.
Yeah, I mean, this was looking like a really good Huni. This was him playing intelligently, playing fairly measured. He never took any ridiculous risks, but he was very consistent with his equalizers. He was very consistent with his team fighting, and really, Clutch as a whole looked very good. And again, we are seeing the power of that Galio, the power of the guaranteed engage. We're seeing why this champion gets banned so much and why it got nerfed next patch.
And I know I memed Demonte a little bit at the start talking about the Galio, but damn if the man didn't perform. 5-0-5 on the Galio, 10 out of 14 kill participation, had that big deciding play around the Baron where he was able to find the taunt flash onto 3 people. Really good performance from Clutch overall, but now let's go ahead and send things down to Ovly and their new top laner.
Thanks, Flowers. Huni, congratulations on that win. With your Rumble, you had some pivotal and game-winning equalizers, so please tell me, what did you think of your performance today?
just too good. I mean, I have never lost like first game of the like regular seasons, which is like pretty. You know what's new? Just who needs winning just regular season.
And you told me earlier today that you really wanted to take down Echo Fox. So why was beating your old team so important to you?
Yeah, there's a lot of reason behind, because obviously I played for Echo Fox like last year, and then I know them, and I didn't resign for them, which is I should beat them. And they made some video for Twitter, and then I got really salty about it, and I had to play like for my best.
And you did. You took them down. But okay, so you are on a new team. Echo Fox is behind you. You're now with Clutch. Out of all of your new teammates, who are you most excited to play with?
If I really have to choose one, like probably Lira, because he was playing really like well as a by himself. So like he was really doing well. Like no matter what, even team was like really losing, and he has a lot like carry potential, which is like maybe he's gonna be like new like kind of Huni Rainover, like maybe. So like we will see.
I'm very excited to see the future of that combo. And Huni, thank you and congratulations again. And to wrap up the day, let's hear from the State Farm analyst desk. I'm so excited.
Thank you very much, Avali. Great to hear from Huni after he picked up a victory for Clutch Gaming against his old team in Echo Fox. Not the cleanest of games, though, perhaps the messiest of the day. And so I really just want to dive straight into the gameplay. Let's pick this apart as we watch it play out. Ultimately, Clutch gets the victory, but there are a few moments where it looked real scary for them.
I think overall, I like both teams' team comp. You can see the obvious synergy here from Clutch, where you have the Camille to go in, you layer the Rumble ult on top of the Galio ult to lock people down inside this equalizer. And
one person's always dying.
Someone is always dying, but I like that on the side of Fox. They have someone that they're okay dying, and they still have pretty much 3 hyper carriers on their team. Ideally, either the Karthus, the Corki, and the Xayah are left alive. Two of those 3 should always be up to then turn these fights.
Yeah, without a doubt. Here we see one of these fights play out where I think one thing that I noticed within this game is an attribute that is very much inherent to a player like Huni and even Piglet for the side of Clutch Gaming. They're aggressive players, and so yes, they want to make plays, and a lot of times we see the first play working for Clutch, but then they overreach for just a little bit more, and that's what was allowing Fox to stay back in it.
Right, so for this Baron play right here, I actually really liked what DeMonte did, but on the flip side of things, when you're checking Baron, you have to figure out who is there engaged, right? The Baron was at half health. They only saw 4 members on the Baron, so they know one person's missing. Who was that? Galio. So when you know that their engager is missing, you have to mark him either by wards or slowly check the bushes. So the fact that Fox didn't keep track of where Galio was a huge downfall to them, because they're reaching a breaking point where they did enough damage so that they could survive and win the team fights. And had they not gotten that Baron right there, I think that game could have been totally different.
It felt like we were only a couple minutes away from Echo Fox's comp, just in general, out-damaging the likes of Clutch. And that returns to your point, Mark, about regardless of whether or not Clutch can kill one of the carries on Fox, there would still be 2 alive to pump out that damage, as long as they're given the time to make those items.
Yeah, plus with the Scion being a monster frontline, they have the opportunity to let that person come in. Scion gets in between Piglet and the rest of the backline, and you kill the frontline with your 2 remaining carries. The other problem with this game plan was Clutch just kept flanking with, like, Karthus was flanking, or Scion would try and hit the backline with an
Fox.
Or excuse me, Fox.
Yeah.
It's going to take me a little bit, given that these teams
They're basically swapped
players.
rosters.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But that's actually the thing I wanted to talk about next is the fact that both of these organizations had to have seen something in the opposing organization's roster to have said, yes, we will take that 3-man core from Clutch and make it the core of now Echo Fox. And similarly, Clutch had to have seen players from Fox and said, yes, there's growth potential there. So my question to you guys is, how do you, with 1 game's worth of evidence, feel about these 2 rosters, you know, on opposing organizations and maybe their prospects throughout the split? It doesn't have to be just isolated to today.
Well, first, with Piglet, I actually really like Piglet. I've played support before, and I've played versus him. Out of all the lane phases that I've ever played versus, I always feel like he created the most pressure. So when I see him do these plays where he flashes in and tries to, like, 1v3 him, I'm like, yes, you know? Because, like, when you're thinking of world champion players like Uzi and stuff like that, they make these plays where they're huge plays, where they will carry the team on their back and do things like that. And then if you don't try those things, you won't know when they work, and you won't have experience in doing it, and you'll be scared to do it in the future stages. So I like the fact that he's willing to do those things.
I agree on that point. The problem is I'm worried that they have too many of those kind of people who are willing to go for the big play, because Hooney's willing to go for the big play and Piglet's willing to go for the big play, and even Lyra goes for the big play a lot of the time. So like when you have 3 people going for the big play, it is very hard to consistently pull off those big plays. When it's just one guy and everyone's working to support that one guy, it works a lot better, which is what you see with Uzi, where there's basically 4 people supporting him. I don't think that's really the case with Clutch, but I mean, this was a good win. Very, very scrappy and did not come easily. So I think both teams walk away with a lot to try and improve on.
Right, so for Fox, we still haven't seen much, right? It's been 1 game so far. I'm still excited to see if Phoenix can get back to form and rush to actually play something that isn't Karthus. It's not like it's not his play style, because he kind of likes going in, dying, and doing stuff, which is kind of what Karthus does, right?
He did it plenty this game.
He's not like a giant playmaker on Karthus, right?
Right.
You saw him try to gank bot through lane. He dropped the wall and like, well, what did that do? You know, it's not like a Lee Sin or something that's more of his style.
Right, you even called out his flank positioning on Karthus. Like,
Yeah.
totally unnecessary. You have a Scion that can engage from the front, just follow him into the fight. But when I see him positioned in a flanking manner like that, that's when I go, oh, right, it's Rush. If he was on Lee Sin, then he would single-handedly
Then it makes
win this
sense.
team fight. It would make perfect sense. So I, as well, will be curious to see Rush on champions that we more
Associate with playmaking.
with him as a playmaker. Now, we didn't show your guys' predictions earlier in the show, but they did make them. So I want to pull those up, see how you guys did here on the outset of the split. Oh my God!
I don't think I actually submitted this, so
I believe this is Photoshop.
I feel like they're just lying. Like they waited till the end of the day so they saw everyone who lost so they could give me a bagel to start the. I don't remember submitting.
You just keep talking, Mark.
I don't remember this.
I believe this is
There's no
Photoshop.
proof I submitted these.
I mean, here's the thing.
They always show at the top of the day.
Last year we had some crazy predictions from week to week. Some days you guys would go 4-0 or 4-1 or 5-0, and other days it was completely reversed. So we're just starting off on a similar footing here with very volatile predictions.
I think I'm gonna take Mark's side on this. I don't really remember saying that or agreeing to those. I'm going with it as Photoshop.
I want to congratulate High though on
Getting
taking
one.
We're top
early-
tier
Did you
analysts.
get your first
early lead
official
here.
prediction correct? At least you got one. That was your first.
Front runner. He was the only one who at one point had a 100% prediction rate here in the NAL.
The funny thing was,
LCS
in rehearsal was like, is Mark my competition for predictions?
Not much competition, Mark.
Neither.
I don't know if we're that
He
top.
has infinitely
I was only
more
one.
points
I was
than
only
you.
one behind him.
You're still
Infinite.
behind.
Right now. All right, well, it's time for us to head off, but don't you worry, because we got more LCS coming your way tomorrow. Up first, Optic Gaming and FlyQuest clash, followed by Cloud9 versus 100 Thieves, and then 2 more matches before we wrap up the weekend with Echo Fox versus Golden Guardians. Taking a look at those 4 matchups tomorrow. Anything jump out to you in particular? Lane matchup, full-on team matchup?
Well, I'm just excited to see them play again, right? There's only been 1 game. It's really hard to create a story or anything based off of it. Like, we can't just be like, oh, this team is so bad or anything like that, right? So I'm just looking forward to seeing the players come out again and really see if they can, the people that lost, to see if they can win. Because the first week really sets the tempo, the pace of like the rest of their season. And if they're going into this 0-2, it's going to be a very rough thing.
Considering the 0-2 thought, Mark, I want to know your thoughts on Cloud9 versus 100
That's
Thieves.
what I was going to say is the game for me. It would have been it even if one had won, one had lost, whatever it was, just because I think that's the highest skill game on tomorrow's docket. But also just coming off 2 losses that I think for Cloud9, they had some good moments and some bad moments, but they obviously want to bounce back after going up against what most people think is the #1 team in Team Liquid. But 100 Thieves definitely struggled a little bit. So I think they're kind of inactive play style, winning lanes, not enough playmaking. I want to see them correct that, and it's a tough matchup to do that for in C9.
Yeah, without a doubt. What do you think might be the aspects of that matchup that it's hinged on, right? Because today we talked about mid-jungle for Cloud9 stacking up against Team Liquid's mid-jungle. But when you're looking across at Huhi instead of Jensen, all of a sudden I feel like those win conditions change. Your focus has to shift.
Right, so tomorrow in that game specifically, I'm looking forward to seeing Licorice versus Someday again, and then we have Bang versus Sneaky, right? Well, we saw that they cosplayed together in Vegas, so we'll have to see who the better cosplayer or AD carry in this case is.
Absolutely, we'll do just that tomorrow. Even though we're heading off, there's still more professional league to fully satiate your esports needs. Our good friends in Europe kicked off the LEC last week to great success and had a ton of amazing plays today. Most notably, you'll want to tune into the slugfest between Misfits and Vitality in Game 5. Don't miss out on the top-tier action. Now for myself, the casters, the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for more of the LCS. Good night.